Somebody need to get Nicholas Pepe a copy of Stop Simpin. Divorcing your wife to marry an adult film star? Sad. Just sad. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA, from the Black Boule, in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. Somebody needs to hand soccer star Nicholas Pepe a red card because what he's about to do to himself is extremely foul. Now, according to reports on websites like Marca, it's stated that soccer star Nicholas Pepe has decided to walk away from his wife and child in order to marry adult film star and OnlyFans model Teana Trump. Now, this decision from Nicholas Pepe basically is the worst kind of simping, and the worst kind of simping because he's walking away from his family in order to get involved with an adult film star and sex worker, and as he's thinking he's going to get a better deal, he's about to set himself up to get the rawest deal for a man in this society. Now, this guy basically probably thinks that he's going to be on a road to getting easy sex from this adult film star and sex worker who goes out here and poses on OnlyFans, but this guy basically is setting himself up for complete financial ruin. Now, this guy, Nicholas Pepe, probably makes a lot of money playing soccer out here, and he not only is going to have to deal with having to pay spousal support to his former wife and pay child support for his child, but he's also possibly going to have to be eventually dealing with an eventual nightmare because the woman who's deciding to go out here and get married to is an adult film star, and when it comes down to these adult film stars basically are women with serious issues due to their sexual promiscuity, and I go in depth on this in my book, The Woman Crisis, where I talk about how because these women are extremely sexually promiscuous, they have the spirits and DNA of other men inside of them, and as they have all of those spirits and DNA inside of them, what happens with these women is that instead of being able to bond with a man and pair bond with a man, what's happening is all the spirits and DNA of all those other men are basically pulling at that woman's soul and have eventually torn that woman's soul completely apart to the point where she basically is completely detached from her emotions, completely detached from being able to connect with a man in any way, shape, or form, and will not be the type of woman who can submit to your leadership or authority. And as a result of that, again, dysfunction as related to her spirit, as related to, again, all those spirits and DNA of all those other men inside of her, this woman will not be able to, again, submit and follow a man's lead. And this is why many smart men will go out here and leave a woman like Teana Trump to the streets, because there's no way you can go out here and have that woman be a part of your life because she's already been a part of the streets. And when it comes down to these women who are a part of the adult film industry, not only do they have spiritual issues, they also have a lot of trauma from all of the sex work that they participate in and all the men they get involved with in behind and in front of the camera, because what a lot of people don't know is that when it comes down to these adult film stars, they basically are strippers at some time. And again, when they're on the road, they're basically stripping and dancing in some cases and getting involved with different clients and having sex with those clients. And sometimes when they're not doing films, they're also having sex with the producers and casting agents. So these women basically are out here in these streets with all sorts of different guys, and again, it's suffering all sorts of trauma, and that trauma is building up in addition to the spiritual trauma that they have inflicted on their souls. These women basically, again, have a lot of anger and a lot of bitterness inside of them due to the way they have been treated by all of these different men. And because they have all of this anger inside of them from the way these men have treated them, they're basically simmering and boiling in anger. And as they simmer and boil in anger, as related to the way they have been mistreated, as related to being mistreated on the sets of these adult films, and at these places that they go to strip and dance, and been mistreated at these casting calls, these women, again, have a lot of deep frustration, a lot of deep anger towards men, and sadly, what happens to the man who decides to get involved with this woman is eventually he winds up becoming what I call a final simp. And this final simp basically is the guy she takes out all her anger and frustration on. She takes out all of her anger and frustration on the final simp. And basically, this man has to deal with all the rage from this woman, all the rage that's been boiling up inside of her ever since her youth. And she takes all of that anger out on that man who thinks he's going to go to happily ever after, where he's going to get a lot of free and easy sex, but the only thing he's going to get is an ass whooping from a woman who's basically out here so crazy and out of control that he wishes he would never have gotten involved with her. And sadly, what I see happening to this guy, Nicholas Pepe, is this woman basically looking to, again, meet several goals as related to this guy. One is taking out all her anger and frustration from all the other men in her life, very similar to Devin Michaels, who was formerly known as Nikki Fairchild, an adult film star who got involved with a white male baby daddy. And as she got involved with that white male baby daddy, eventually she wound up getting into a custody battle with this man. And eventually he wound up getting custody because of her adult film star past. And she basically went out here and took out her anger on this man by decapitating him. And they have never found his head to this day after this woman wound up getting convicted for murdering him. And the same thing possibly will happen to Nicholas Pepe or some other horrid tragedy, because again, when you're dealing with these adult film stars and OnlyFans models, again, these women have serious issues. Yeah, they may look pretty on the outside, but they've got a lot of trauma on the inside. And if this woman is doing OnlyFans, she's possibly gone to places like Dubai, possibly been crapped on by Arab men who basically, again, used her body in addition to the adult films. And again, this guy doesn't know what he's getting into because, again, she's basically, again, got him thinking he's getting a good deal. No, he's getting a raw deal, the rawest deal a guy could get. And basically, this is watching a tragedy happen to us. This guy, again, had things going good for him, had a marriage, had a child, was doing all right, but because he got caught up in this woman's looks and possibly caught up looking at her in these adult films, he's going to go out here and wind up losing at the end of the day. Losing at the end of the day because not only is he going to have to pay that child support for the 2 children that he's had right now and walk away from the wife that he had and pay her as related to things, now he's going to be in for that nightmare as related to things with this woman and all of her emotional baggage. He's also gonna be eventually dealing with all the rampages and again all the anger from this woman. Again, this guy is gonna be in the middle of a real life horror movie that where he's the final simp and like the final girl in the movies dealing with a woman he can't control or even deal with at this point. And that's the top peak of the iceberg as related to the nightmare this guy is in. And that's in the best case scenario, he's going to be dealing with that anger, and in the worst case scenario, this woman will marry this dude, and after a while, what this chick is going to do is eventually she's going to go out here and say she's not happy because she's not happy anyway due to the trauma she's endured, and she's going to want to file for divorce. And after she files for divorce, possibly not in one of these foreign countries, but right here in America, what this woman is going to look to do is go out here and get half of dude's money, and it'll be all his fault because this simp basically made the horrid mistake that many simps do when they get caught up in the fantasy, that many of these sex workers like Teana and Trump make. They make up a fantasy because that's how they sell themselves. They go out here, create a fantasy around them, and they know how to talk to men. They know how to charm men. They know how to tell a man what he wants to hear because this is what they've been doing at these strip clubs and doing at these bars that they go to when they're not doing adult movies. When they're not doing adult movies, they're going to strip clubs and again talking to guys out here and again getting in their ear to get that money. And they're basically talking to these guys, and definitely this chick is gonna have some side dudes on this dude, because again, when it comes down to these sex workers, these are not monogamous women because their hypergamy basically prevents them from doing that because they're always around these guys who again are making lots of money. And as they're around these guys and they're offering them stuff because these simps are so caught up in their feelings about seeing that hot, sexy woman in front of them, they're not really thinking critically. And again, this guy doesn't know the nightmare he's about to endure, dealing with this female. And again, he will rue the day he wound up getting involved with this woman because he's going from the frying pan with that marriage to winding up in a fire that he basically will again wind up consuming him, and he'll rue the day he got involved with her. And sadly, had this dude read my book, Stop Simpin', he wouldn't be in this situation because I basically warn men in two of my books. One is Stop Simpin', Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, to stay away from female predators, and my other ebook, Misadventures of Captain Save-'em. I warn men not to get involved with women who are strippers and sex workers because eventually what's going to happen to guys who think they can put on the cape and the Power Rangers galoshes, they think they can go out here and save this woman, but the only thing that's going to happen to a dude who gets involved with a woman who basically is out here in the adult film industry or doing OnlyFans is that woman is just going to kick you in the nuts and then squat down over your face and then crap in your face with some kryptonite doo-doo, then smash that kryptonite doo-doo straight in your face because these women have nothing but contempt for men. They have nothing but anger for men. That's what they learned because they've become extremely detached from again, healthy relationships. They're really disconnected from people, and any guy who goes out here and gets involved with this type of woman doesn't understand, again, what's going on in this woman's head as related to all the stuff she has done. He doesn't know what's going on. Basically, what is in this woman's mind is basically twisted, and he doesn't know that this woman, because she's basically twisted inside of her head, she's got, again, I'll repeat it once more, a lot of spiritual issues, a lot of mental issues, and this guy basically walked away from a wife and child, two children actually, to wind up in what is going to be a nightmare. And the sad part is that we have to sit here and watch this great tragedy that's about to befall this soccer player, who's basically gonna wind up in a place where he will wish he hadn't gone out here and met this goal that's basically going to lead to him winding up striking out as related to this nightmare of a marriage. Now, if you want to learn how to identify female predators, you can pick up my book, Stop Simpin'. My Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, to learn all about the simp paradigm and learn how to avoid female predators like adult film stars and basically keep yourself from winding up on a road to financial ruin. And you can also pick up my ebook, Misadventures of Captain Save 'em, which goes into detail of why you avoid women like strippers and single mothers, and you avoid these type of women because they are not, again, looking for you to save them. They're looking for somebody to, again, take advantage of, and I go in detail into the ways these women take advantage of Captain Save-ems and basically lead to them turning on them and smashing them in the face with kryptonite doo-doo. And both of those books are available on Amazon.com, and Stop Simpin' is available at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And Misadventures of Captain Save 'em is available exclusively on Amazon. And if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read Misadventures of Captain Save 'em for free right now. And if you want to see me make more videos taking celebrities to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback at e-readers, Isis, Dark Incubus. The goddess next door gets enthralled in a romantic entanglement with an evil incubus in this all-new Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Dark Incubus in paperback and e-readers today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.